Wonderful. Well, thank you so very much. I appreciate the invitation. It's an honor to be your first speaker for 2025, and as you say, we will try to make it an engaging conversation, and hopefully, the ones who are here with us will be leaving this session with something useful that they could apply to their LinkedIn growth strategy to attract new opportunities and um, or grow their network. All right. So again, um, thank you. So as you were saying, so my name is Jean Welter. So I go, it's a French name. So instead of Jean, I usually go by Jean Welter. So I'm originally from Haiti. I lived in the US for some times, and I've been based in Montreal, Quebec for the last 20 plus years. So yeah, his audio is clear on my end. Okay, so you can hear me. Very good. All right, that was the test that I was supposed to do, but that's good. So everybody can hear me. So wonderful. So instead of we're not wasting time, you said I have how many minutes for the presentation?
15 minutes. 15 minutes.
15. 1 5?
Yeah, 15. 1 5, yes.
Okay, well, I just burned 5 already. So all right. So
Go ahead.
we'll go through it right now. I'll share my screen if I'm partagé uh avoid them out. So I'm sending you a request to allow me to share my screen. All right, and that has been which one right there? Partagé. Good. You guys see my screen? Wonderful. Um, so I don't have, I'm not gonna be spending time on who I am anymore. So you guys, you already did it. So I'll go straight to what I actually prepared for you guys today. So, um, I believe that in today's society, LinkedIn um, has changed the way that we used to network with individuals. Like, before, for us to be able to network properly, we would need to go at a certain place. And then when we are at that place, we would meet people that we did not actually desire to meet. But with LinkedIn right now, we can actually network with people we want to network with. So you can select your audience. You can select whoever that you want to again to attract to your network. So again, I say my personal branding. Why is it important on LinkedIn? Personal branding. So it's very, very important. So as you know, your personal branding is who you are, your reputation. We say like, 80% of people right now like use LinkedIn for network and to grow, especially recruiters. So basically, right now, instead of people going to certain job search, you know, famous web page, they would go on LinkedIn. That's where people are most likely looking for candidates, and that's where most likely they are posting for jobs as well. Your personal branding helps you become credible because once you start telling people who you are, so you have also will develop credibility because people will consider you as an expert when whatever you're trying to tell them. So if you're telling them that, if building your personal brand around leadership, that's gonna be who people are going to consider you for when they need a leader. Then that's, most likely who you will be considered for. So personal branding when it comes to LinkedIn, I think is very, very important. It's, your how you project yourself. Um, you know, uh, it's I'm sure, like, I don't know how many of you are already on LinkedIn. I'm sure if you're here today, it's because you are interested. Optimizing your LinkedIn profile is very important. As we say, first impression is always like important. The way you present yourself is how people are going to perceive you. So if you present yourself, as an expert matter and whatever you're trying to tell people, then that's who they're gonna take you for. But also if you present yourself as as somebody who's so, people are gonna take you as somebody who is so. So in order to have, well, I don't have a lot of time, so I'll just run through this very fast. In order for you to be able to have a very good LinkedIn profile, that is what we call optimized properly. You need a very good photo. We do not need the photo where you have been at the club partying. It's not TikTok. This is a network professional. So the picture that you have on your LinkedIn should actually be like, a very good headshot that shows you, at least showing some level of welcomeness. So people, when they see your profile, they'll feel welcome. Instead of you seeing you get mad or upset, you have a very good headshot. Headlines is basically not only a title, like, if you're a financial advisor, but your headlines would also tell people what you do, how you can help them. Because the whole idea is, to attract people. So if you just, okay, I'm a financial advisor, okay, fine. But how can you help somebody who is looking for a financial advisor? Crafting and compelling summary, so your expertise, your experience and skills, and very important one because if you're new on LinkedIn, once you have your URL is very long, but you could also customize it to make it short. So people could actually, let's say if you copy paste it in something, it won't be like, you copy pasting the whole, like, full page. It'll just be LinkedIn with whatever you customize it. So very important to do that once you want to optimize your profile. So at the end, what you want to do is make your profile work for you. So while you're sleeping, people will be emailing you, asking you for advice, or people would be booking calls with you because your profile is well optimized and we have everything that we just mentioned earlier on it. For somebody who wants to go on LinkedIn, or not only, if you want to have people connecting, you have to create content. There are over 1 billion people on LinkedIn, and only 1% of them are creating content. So that means, like, not everybody creating content, or the 1%, it's not like people that are creating good content, 1% are creating, but the percentage of people who are creating good content to create engagement are very low. So now the algorithm of LinkedIn has been changing quite a bit, especially in the last 60 days. But if you want to be a creator, if you want to be the leader in your field, you have to start creating some types of content. Whether, like, if you're a doctor, you have to start telling people about what you do as a doctor so people know, you start creating content in that field, and that's how opportunities are gonna come to you. Again, I won't be spending time on it because our time is limited there, and I want to give you guys opportunities if you have questions to ask. So that's it. So you have that whatever I put in there. So you would be go big basically, like, share about your work experience, personal, because sometimes people think if you looked on LinkedIn, most of the posts that got lots of attention are personal posts, like where people are telling people, like, how did, for example, let's say someone who overcome, let's say, bad credit. Let's say somebody who didn't have good credit, and then how it impacted them. And then from that bad credit experience, they they learn and they became an expert in that field, and then eventually were able to get back up on their feet, and now they were able to buy the car of their dream car, their house. So you take that, you put that as a personal story, then people could relate to it. People who are going through credit issues would be able to relate to it, and then that's how people would be like, oh, okay, so you've done that. Let me reach out to this person and ask them how they can help me. And that's how opportunities are created on LinkedIn. So just that's just an example in one field. Um, so I said, mastering LinkedIn algorithm, play it smart and let the system work for you. So I mean, for people who are already there, the time frame like suggested to post content is between 8 to 10 p.m. There are usually on the evening, people doesn't really post, but I mean, if you are ever tempted to create a post in the evening, you could do between 5 to 7. So that's when most people are having supper and they at home, and if they're not watching TV, they could just be scrolling on their phone, and then boop, you catch their attention, and that could turn into opportunity. So when you post, somebody comment, you try to engage as quickly as possible, because you do not get paid for content that you create on LinkedIn. So that's how when you create good stuff that our people are interested in, LinkedIn keep pushing it so that people can see it more. So you want people, well, as soon as someone comment on their post, you want to respond, because once they comment, you respond. That creates engagement. And then somebody on their network might see your post, and then they come to see it, and then they start commenting. And that's how, virality goes. And avoid, not too many external links. Like, let's say, I mean, if you're selling a service, you have external links, so that's no problem. And try to diversify. We have carousel videos and poll, and so you try to diversify until you find something that works for you. Once you find something that works, then you push it until it stops working, right? So right. Also, pro tips is try to track your engagement. So which day you got better engagement, what kind of content give you better engagement. So that's how you're gonna be able to double down on what's working. If you see something is working, then you push it, and if it's not working, then you kill it, and then try to find a good strategy. Measuring and improving your LinkedIn strategy. That's what I was saying earlier. So you try to see what's good and what's not good, what you can do, what you cannot do. So you have LinkedIn is gonna give you, like if you're posting every week, they'll send you. Sometimes, it depends. If you post a post and it gets lots of attention, the same day they'll send, okay, oh, you posted this, and this is how many views it got. This is how many clicks. This is so it gives you like, stats that you could work with to make sure that you can continue to improve. Take action today, say, and build your brand on your story. So though I didn't have time like to enter in detail, you know, how to implement some of those, but I hope like, whatever I'm giving to you today, you will not just sit on them. So you will actually take them and apply them, and to actually grow your LinkedIn strategy, or let your LinkedIn network. So optimize your profile, so that when people comes to your profile, they won't be asking themselves what you do. As soon as somebody set their eyes on your profile, they should have a good idea what you do. If they are asking yourself, what does this guy do? Your profile is not optimized well enough. So somebody who sees your profile, they should know, okay, this is what he does. Start posting valuable content consistently. If you post for a week, you don't see like it's not sometimes it happened. There are people who just post within their first post, they got, 1,000 likes on it, but it's very rare. So you might be posting for a full month, and then you got 1 or 2 likes. But again, what they say sometimes on LinkedIn, it's not about virality. So the right person who will see the right post could attract opportunity. You might have a post that has like, 1 like, and then it brings opportunities of $1,000 to you, or 10,000 or 25,000, because that person who likes it could bring opportunities to you. And then if you post something, you have no likes, but you still ended up getting 300 impressions. You didn't pay for that. So just by creating, you have 300 impressions. So that means there are 300 human beings who set eyes on what you created. So that's a powerful thing right there. So people might see it and didn't like, didn't comment, but they still interacting with whatever you're creating. So you just need to keep creating, and actually you're gonna build. It's like compound interest. So if you create a post today, it stay there, another one, it stay there, and then eventually you got like 30 posts in 30 days. So like if you have 30 posts and then you have each of them bringing 10 impressions a day, so that's what we call compound. So it's increasing every day. And again, track your progress, leverage new opportunities to grow, like your influence. And remember, your LinkedIn profile is your digital business. So LinkedIn is not the place where you go to find your date. I mean, there are people who can find a date there too, but this is where you go. You want people to bring, attention to you, attract the right opportunities on LinkedIn again. So you be active, create content, engage, comment. You find at least, let's say you find five creators who are in your niche, and then you find another 5 or 10 of them who are big. So you say, I'm gonna comment on them every morning. Whatever they post, I'm gonna comment. And then when they respond to you, that's when the magic start happening. So you have to start engaging. You have to have good description on your about section, and then set your profile for success. So that's my time, I guess. So if you guys have any question, or well, one quick things I could say. You see, like not too long ago, I was contacted by Immigration Canada, though I used to work for them as a translator. But I got a message from a lady who worked for them. And she said, if I was open for a new opportunity, I was like, sure. Well, you know, let me hear about it. And she said, I want you to train people who are working for us under a certain segment on how to use LinkedIn. And that's what a good optimized profile does. I did not go and look for her. She searched for my service and reached out to me. So now every month I do two training session, and then that paid quite a bit. So it's just to show you that once your profile is optimized and you know what you're doing, the right opportunities are there. You just have to be consistent and posting daily, and then LinkedIn will rank you. All right. So if you guys have any questions, um, comments, I floor is yours right now.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jen, for sharing this helpful tools. Of course, we see LinkedIn, as another social media platform. Most young people do that, and we don't understand, or sometimes we underestimate the potential, the capacity of LinkedIn to transform an individual, both personal brand and
Hmm.
of course also contributes significantly to your individual and professional growth. So thank
Hmm.
you very much for sharing those tips like you have, like you've done. Just a few things that caught my attention, while you were sharing. You talked
Hmm.
about consistency being key, right? And that's something that we're not very um, I mean, you hardly find people who are as consistent as they ought to be, and I'm one of these. I'm one of them as well. I'm guilty of this.
Hmm.
Sometimes you just post once in a week, or maybe once in 2 weeks, or twice in 2 weeks. But I think that is very, very important. The fact that we have to be consistent. If you want to get the attention that you desire, then consistency is one thing that brings that. And then you talked about algorithms, which is also something that, you know, many people might not really pay attention to,
Hmm.
talking about when to post, even the timing, all right, the timing to post that would get the attention of people, and people can actually engage with the post, as soon as possible. So those are
Hmm.
also things that I think are very, very very important, which you have highlighted.
Mm.
I would let Lillian handle the question and answer session.
Yeah, I'm on. Hi, John. Thank you so much for your presentation. Good evening to everyone on the chat, or good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you're joining us from. We have a question in the chat. It says, do you accept all connection requests, or do you have some green and red flags? And I think this is a very good question because in trying to build our professional network, it's very important that we are selective about the kind of people that we are letting into our space, and not just but being very deliberate so that you're sure that the people that you're accepting are actually people helping you out on your goal. And that's also linking to the second question, but let you answer this one first. So it says, do you accept all connection requests, or do you have some green and red flags? And if you do, what are the green and red flags that you would look out for when you're setting yourself up on LinkedIn?
Wonderful. That's a great question. Um, I like the way you started answering it. It's I see it two ways.
Mhm,
If you are very niche down, so you know exactly what you're selling, you do not want to do this, you do not want to do that, but you want to focus
mhm,
on A. Let's say you do not want to go to Z, you just want to stay on A. Then you should not be accepting all connection requests because you know your targeted audience. Now, if you are someone who wants to create content on LinkedIn and then hopefully those content will bring opportunities to you, you could accept all kinds of requests, you should actually accept all kinds of requests because once you accept a request, when you create something, whenever you post something, that connection of yours will see what you create and then they
mhm,
interact with it. Once they interact with it, that tells LinkedIn that okay, this is something interesting because people are
mm,
clicking, people are liking, people are commenting. Now, the fact that somebody sends you a request does not mean that they'll be a client of yours, but they could be one of the people that would help you go on LinkedIn because they start interacting with your posts on a daily basis. Now,
mm,
that's why, we always say once you accept a connection request, they don't know your address. They don't know your phone number. Just they are just on LinkedIn. And if one day then they started, acting negatively on your LinkedIn, you just remove that connection.
mm,
But in my view, whenever a connection, at the beginning, I used to select. Then when my mentor told me, "Why are you selecting?" I said, "Because isn't it no, man? They don't know your house. They don't know your phone number. They are here to
mm,
to help you grow." Eventually, because even if I have all of all of my connections are from Pakistan, example, or India, so it's gonna be hard for me to sell what I'm selling to them. But at the end, when they start commenting, liking my post, it's warming up the algorithm. So LinkedIn is gonna be pushing it to more people, and then somebody, because I most my service is geared toward CEO, vice president. So somebody in there eventually gonna see what I'm offering. So it all depends, but I would say, all connection requests, you can accept, and as soon as you see they don't meet your standard, in terms of commenting, you block them.
okay. All right then. I'm going to ask another one, which is actually the follow-up for this first question. When you're on LinkedIn, maybe you just open your account or you've had your account for a while and you want to start being deliberate about what you're posting. How do you set your goals on LinkedIn? And this isn't specific to how many posts you want to do a week or what kind of people you want to connect with. But this is generally just how do you decide what you want to do on LinkedIn if you're looking for a job, so you're trying to connect with a lot of people, or like you've mentioned, if you have a service that you are selling, so you have particular people. But how do you set your LinkedIn goals and how do you track to make sure that you're actually achieving what you set out to achieve in the first place?
Now, if you are, let's give an example. If you are somebody who is looking for a job on LinkedIn, let's
Hmm.
be clear, creating content is not gonna, it's gonna be hard to get you the job that you're looking for.
Okay.
All right. If you are just getting started and you're looking for a job, you cannot just go in the market and, started creating content. So if
Yeah.
you are searching for a job, the first thing to do is make sure your profile is well optimized. Use LinkedIn to be your resume. That's the first thing. Second thing is make sure that you are connecting to people who are recruiting into the field that you are searching for. So on LinkedIn, you're allowed to send 100 connection requests per week. So
Mhm.
if you are looking for a job, then you shouldn't be sending connection requests to students who are about to graduate. Because
Mm,
you should be sending your resume to recruiters. Let's say if you are somebody who graduated in finance, you can see it. You just look for finance and then the countries you are and or the city, and then you see all the lists of the recruiters that who are hiring in the industry that you are looking for a job. Then you send request, but also on each request, you make a personalized message. So you do not just
mm,
click connection request, connection request. It could simple be, okay, my name is so and so. I'm a, newly graduate from this university. I just want to connect. And then the person, yeah, of course, like if you got five of them who accept your request, and then you send a follow-up. So I noticed that you are recruiting in such and such field, and then I'm open to new opportunities. If ever you have something or someone in your network is looking for something, feel free to refer me. I would greatly appreciate. It's like, you're building. So, and then in the meantime, while you're doing that, because you're not gonna be doing that 8 hours a day, so you could also
mhm,
be sharing something about what you've learned in university in your field. That's when the content part comes in. So let's say if you're a doctor, you're searching for a job, and then so you start a medical doctor, you start creating content related to your field. And then not once, if you want to go viral, so you have to start searching for posts on LinkedIn that has done very well. And then what you do is take the same post and then tweak it a little bit and then give credit to the person who create that post and then you post it. The next thing you get more interaction because it's something that has been proven to work on LinkedIn. So you don't
mm.
reinvent the wheel, you just follow the crowd.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay. We have another question here. It says, what do you think about using ChatGPT to package your content and make it sound better?
Um, Not a good idea at all. I'm just
Okay.
kidding. I'm just kidding. Um, I I love AI. I love AI. Like almost everything I do, like
Mm,
is AI based. Like, and I've seen people trashing, okay, don't do this, but s the statistics are saying otherwise.
hmm
I think there was a recent study done by HubSpot showing that AI content is actually getting better results than
mm,
human written content. So something that would take you like a whole hour to think or,
yeah.
take, and then you can have that done within seconds. So of course now, you have to be able to give AI the right prompt and then make sure that everything are there are um, fits into in order. And then if you're using AI, make sure that you have all the tools that that could verify spellings or that could also rephrase certain thing just
Hmm
because you do not want to sound too robotic. But even that could, that within the next year or two, so everybody will be using AI. So use AI to repackage or do whatever for your content. Again, you'll always have to put your human touch. You have to make sure that okay, it's follow like whatever you do, like you got everything in there. But yeah, there is no problem in using AI in my view.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I agree with that actually. I think especially in terms of the fact that there are a lot of things that demand for our time these days, especially if you're working or you have like two, three jobs, you want to be consistent on LinkedIn. But what really makes people take a step back is thinking about the long, because I know LinkedIn usually is long form content. So people want to have 3 to 4 paragraphs of things rolling out. And then they're always thinking, how am I going to, what time do I have to dedicate towards making this content? So I definitely agree with that. And thank you for that question too. I want to ask about common mistakes that young professionals make when they're building their personal brand on LinkedIn, because this is a topic that comes up quite a lot, especially when we're in sessions like this one, and people will say, be deliberate about what kind of messaging you're putting out. But what are the common mistakes that you find that young professionals make when they're setting themselves up on LinkedIn?
I think it's a mix of, a lot of things. So sometimes
Mm,
somebody will just go on LinkedIn and they think that, okay, I've heard about it and I'll go on there, just put my picture and, you know, uh, I'm a manager and this and a few
yeah,
experience. And then, the next thing somebody in the White House will call them to come work there, because they know it does not work like that. That you have, again, well, I just said it earlier, you have to be consistent and then make
yeah,
sure that your profile speaks for itself. You do not want people, like, to come there and say, oh, you know, um, for example, Dare's profile looks good, but I'm not sure what she's looking for. And you don't want that. You want to make sure your profile is well optimized. You have a good banner, a good picture, title, description, and everything that you've done. For example, the job that you've done in the past. Don't just put, okay, manager at this, but under that, you allowed to
yeah.
give a good description, and this is also SEO friendly, right? So
Mm,
those description will help your profile to rank. So if you want to attract certain opportunities, what you'll have to do is make sure that you get to the point where people can see you. Um, People see you, and then you are relevant.
yeah.
You know, your accomplishment. I mean, you're not bragging, but if you've accomplished them, make sure that you are able to, people are able to see. So people are able to see what you've done, and also, and again, people don't usually like, once the biggest mistake would be like, okay, they come on LinkedIn for a month and then they disappear for 3 years you know.
Yeah.
Just I was, it's exaggerating a number, but just hoping, okay, this week I did this, and then, for the next 2 months, no LinkedIn. No, it doesn't work like that. So LinkedIn has lots of opportunity, but it just be active again, consistent, good profile picture, clear. Your intention should be like, what you do as soon as somebody step in there, they see, okay, this is who I want.
Mm,
And I know there are people right now who, when they are from like countries that are like, for example, in Africa or East Asia, so usually they'll try to put like, I'm from Canada or in the US because they want people to able to value them. I
mm,
know one of the biggest guy on LinkedIn. I was just in one of the conference that he was doing. He says like, all the people who works for him actually lives in Nigeria. So that shows that, and he's big on LinkedIn. He got over 1 million followers. And then, he's able to use, your guys' resources to build the network that he has on LinkedIn right now. So I think people like, whether you're in Nigeria or not, so if you are qualified, if you know what you're doing, sky is
mhm,
the limit.
yeah. Of course, thank you.
Sure.
My next question is going to be about the headline, right? So your picture, your name, and then your headline. How do you craft a compelling headline that's short but very
Hmm.
succinct? So you say what you do, in a way that when someone taps on your profile, they can understand immediately what your service offering is or what kind of industry you work in.
Hmm. Um, so it's you have your section because you already say who you are and
Mm-hmm.
to let's say what you do, what you're looking to do, and your job description is already says that. Now in your profile, it should say to tells people what you like, who you are, and how you can help them to achieve whatever they are looking to achieve. Right? So like me, like what I do, I help people to grow on LinkedIn. I help CEO manage their profile. So as soon as somebody come in there, they see it, that's what I do, right? But there are people who will be like, I help um business owners to grow their portfolio of client in this. And there are people who will be okay. I am a relationship advisor. I help
Mm.
people to build good relationship or solid relation. So it tells you are this, but this is what I help you with. So as soon as someone comes in there and say, okay, this person is a nurse, they can help me get a medication or something. So I'm a nurse. I can take care of, sick
Mm.
patient. So basically, okay, who you are and what you can help people with.
Okay. And when you're starting out, and maybe you're new to the industry, let's say maybe you've completed an internship, you're trying to move to a permanent position in a different company.
Hmm.
You're not exactly established as a professional, but you do have some amount of experience. Or let's even imagine it's someone that doesn't have experience at all. Do you still go ahead to say, I help businesses with da 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 da, or I am da 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 da?
You sh
Because, yeah.
you should not lie. You should not
Okay.
lie. That's what, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why earlier I think I have one slide that said you have to be authentic.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be honest because at the end, if you are not honest, then what if you say, you do this and then somebody you're gonna work with and say, you know what, I'm willing to work with you, but I need a reference. Like you say you've done this, you've done that.
Mm.
I need to talk to these people first to see, if they can testify on your behalf to see what the result you've been able to help them get. So you should not lie in any shape or form. So I think, I mean, anyone who has a degree, they have some kinds of experience, right?
Mm.
So either while you were in school, let's say if you are a coach, let's say you help individual, but you just get your certification. So you are able to tell people how you while you were in school, how you were able to inspire others while you were learning to be a coach, but you were still coaching people. Now you haven't
Yeah.
done it in a certain where you while you're working, but you've been doing it for free all your life. So that's why it's important to just describe the steps that you've taken to get to where you are. And that's sometimes when people can relate to you too. So most of the time you'll hear people who gets, good opportunities while they creating content. It's like, um, man, I didn't know this type of opportunities would come to me,
Yeah.
because like you just create something and somebody can relate to it and boom, but you should be authentic. You should not, if you have not helped, you shouldn't say I've helped so and so.
Mm.
You could say, okay, I'm a newly graduate and this is what I've learned and I'd like to now apply it and I'm open to this. This is how I can help you with what I've learned.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Hmm.
That's fantastic because I always think about that, especially for people that are new to a certain industry or to corporate life as a whole,
Hmm.
and how they can position themselves to not look like complete novices without experience. Because most times they've probably done an internship or they volunteered with a project at some point, but they just don't know how to put that
But this is
on
still
the
experience. If
link.
you did an internship,
Yeah.
if you did the it's still experience you got. So you have to talk about this experience. How, while you
Yeah.
were doing that internship, how did that help other people?
Of
You,
course. Yeah.
this is your experience. No one can take that away from you. So talk about it.
Mm. Okay. Yeah, that's good. I want to ask about when you're transitioning to a different industry. So let's assume that you have a degree in, let me look for something that's going to be hard, let's say psychology. Maybe
Hmm.
your first degree is in psychology, so you have a bachelor's in that. And you come out and you do an internship and you realize you actually don't want to be in psychology anymore. Let's say that you're more interested in HR now. And
Hmm.
so you want to transition from your core area and move into something more specialized like human resources.
Hmm.
How do you put that out on your LinkedIn in a way that if you have previous connections, they can understand what your transferable skills are and why it's not such a crazy thing to do to move from one industry to another or one career choice to another?
Yeah, but I think, this is something like, that happened to almost everyone. It's like you went to school for something like
Yeah.
I I studied social work.
Okay.
I'm supposed to be working like, doing social counseling, like, working
Mm-hmm.
with youth who's having problems. And that's not what I'm doing at all,
Mm.
you know. Now, does that help me in what I'm doing? Yes,
Mm.
because it helps me to listen to people. And if
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking to you, you are going through something, I might be able to make you feel very comfortable because of the skills that I gained while I was in social work. So
Yeah.
I learned to listen to people and learn to go get the resources that they need. So, but I did not like, just say, okay, social service, and I'm talking about social service on LinkedIn. No, that's not what I'm doing at all. So I went from social work and I worked in finance and I'm in insurance, and now I'm helping this. But I could talk to people. Okay, I went to school to become a social worker. Now we have a social worker there too in the chat. So I went to school to become a social worker, but I did not become a social worker. But this is what I'm doing today. But because of the skills that I acquire in
Mm.
social work, these skills have helped me to be this, a better listener, a better resource seeker, a better this, a better that. So again, and that's when sometimes it's important to be authentic because there are so many, and then maybe someone who's struggling, like they have a PhD in psychology, and they like, man, like since I have a PhD, I'm stuck. I have to do this. But all of a
Mm.
sudden, they see a post saying, okay, me, I have like a double major and then this, but I ended up doing
In a different
that.
place.
I never thought I would do. And then they'll be like, oh, and that's when sometimes that's when it comes to your inbox. Say somebody would like,
Mm-hmm.
I feel, thank you so much for sharing that. I was so confused, but if you are able to do it, I can also do it too. And now that's when it comes. Like they're gonna ask like, how was the transition? And then now you
Yeah.
realize, okay, I talk about this and people are reaching out to me. Now, let me just charge $150 for career transition advice.
Mm.
And then, all of a sudden you just got something like, so now, so you see it's working. So now you're creating more posts. And then at the end, you're just, okay, you know what? Since I've been in your shoes, I've done that. I can help you do this. If you want to book a call with me. And then now when they click on your calendar, they see, okay, for me to book a call with them, it's gonna cost me this and gonna cost me that. And then that's when you start making some money, right?
Right. That's very interesting because I like the fact that you mentioned authenticity. I think many times as human beings, we might feel like our story is happening in a vacuum and things that are happening to us are so unique and I'm the only one in the whole world this has ever happened to. But putting your story out there actually helps you resonate better with the audience that you're speaking to. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's even a place where you can get good content direction from
Yep.
because now everybody's on LinkedIn, always thrilled to share, happy to announce. And so people usually feel if you don't have something that's somebody can say congratulations to, then you don't really even
Mm-hmm.
bother posting at all.
Yeah.
So that's a very, very interesting angle to think about it from. My final
Hmm.
question would be in terms of when you're building and you're putting out your content, it's very public, right?
Hmm.
Because
Yeah.
you're putting your ideas out there and everybody can see how you think, who you are.
Hmm.
And because of the kind of space that we're living in, many times we'll come into contradiction with another person's belief system, another person's values.
Yeah.
And it's not everybody that's usually so hospitable to not put it out there and say, I don't agree with what you just said. This is
Mm.
rubbish. This is not properly researched. Yeah. So when you get feedback like that, how do you how do you receive it and not let it affect you negatively?
I give you an example. I created, well, not I there was one post that I saw on LinkedIn that was going viral. As I said, you take content that's doing very good, you take it and refine it and make it your own. Yeah. So you make it your own and then give the person who initially
Yeah,
create the post credit.
the
So
credit.
I took one post like that and I tweaked it and give them credit. I got I got 5 million impression on that post.
Mm,
I got like I think 28,000 likes. So in the comment,
mm,
I have all kinds of people who were not in agreement with the post.
mm,
Sometimes there are some of them like they would be, straight, flat out rude. I would just
mm,
delete. You just delete it. You have the option to just delete them and keep in your network, or just delete it and block them.
yeah.
And those people, like, as I said, like, a 9 million impression, some of them I didn't even have like any connection with them at all. It's just the post was going viral, they were commenting. And I had people reaching out to me straight in my inbox telling me, no, you shouldn't be telling people to do this, to do that, to do this. I never respond to one of them.
Mm,
So if somebody say, you know what, like, thank you for posting this. This is, I have a guy like in that post I was telling like there were people who were mad because it was a post that talks about like, your workplace, your boss is not your family. So your
mm,
fam, so and then some people like they consider their work as their boss as the family, like the workplace. So imagine like they saw that they like, no, I've been working at that place for like 20 years and they've
yeah.
treated me like, my family. I've gone to all their Christmas parties and all that.
Mm,
Like, some of them I would respond. I'd say like, I respect that, but they
mm.
are
That's not a
still
universal experience.
yeah,
Mm,
they are still. And I say, like, if you look at the majority of the, people who are commenting there, you can see they all have had bad experience with bosses that they
mm,
thought were the best friend. So,
mm.
I had one guy, and I say, like, there were lots of people who were not happy with it. And I have, like, one guy, he was actually, like, a very high place in a high, good company. He messaged me. He said, I wanted to comment, but I cannot. But I meant to say, like, I'm at my place, people, the bosses think that I'm happy, but it's like I'm miserable. And, like I'm this. I mean, he was like, thank you so much. I wish I could send it to them so they would see, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, when you see that, it's like, okay, you know what? I've seen two or three bad message, but I've seen this one too.
Yeah.
This gives you, and it's of course, like it's a professional network, so people are gonna be more careful in what they say. It's not
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
TikTok, but every
Or
now and
Twitter.
then you're gonna have one random
Mm.
spatial species that's gonna come and just, you know, don't care and then say whatever they have to say. You just don't take it personal and, you go about it.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. That was my final question, but we have, I think, two more in the chat. So Afolabi is asking how can professionals strike a balance between showcasing their achievements and maintaining authenticity on LinkedIn without coming off as being overly self-promotional?
Oh, beautiful question. I love that. No, the unlink, and that's what you have to do. Yet I work
Mm,
with a lady, like well, we are gonna work together. We're in the process of finalizing something. She's a very successful in the tech industry in Denver, Colorado. And when I was asking questions for me to be able to understand her story so that I could tell her story on LinkedIn. She said, "No, I don't want to do that." I said, "Why?" She said, "It feels like I'm bragging." I said, "Well, isn't that what you do on your CV?" And you said, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I've worked at that place and this is what I used to do. I've worked that and because you're telling me you've done all these things so that I can hire you. That's what you do on your CV. So it's not like you're not bragging. You're just telling people what you do, what you did in the
Mm,
past. And then that's when it's become like even because since you are telling them what you do, and then there are people who wants to go to where you are.
mm,
Now,
yeah.
if you telling them, okay, this is the path I've walked to get to where I am, and that's when it creates opportunities. So that's when it's gonna be like, okay, you did this, and I wanna do it. So
Yeah.
how can we work together so you help me to get to where
To
you
get there
are?
as well.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
when you say, okay, for me to help you to get to where I am, I charge a fee for it. Can you afford it? Yes. Okay, what is the fee? Boom, this and
Mm,
this amount. Let's work together. So personal stories, personal experience are very good sellers on LinkedIn. So if you're looking on LinkedIn, you'll see people said, you know what, I've I've been backstabbed by my boss, and then or I was in that place and then somebody picked me up and this. So, personal experience. So your personal stories. No one else could relate to that. I have actually a
mm-hmm.
real estate guy that I follow. He was even telling that he was like, when he started sharing his personal stuff, his LinkedIn went wild.
Mm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's for Falabia's question. I think if I'm going to add anything, because I feel like the major concern is him trying not to sound overly self-promotional, I'd say pigging back off of what Jean has said, it's important that you put out your content in a way that helps other people, because he did mention that of the 1 billion users on LinkedIn, it's only 1% of people that actually create content. So if you're worried about when I'm putting out my achievements out there, how does it not sound like an ad? You can
Mhm.
always add tips on how it can help other people. If you have optimized your CV in a particular way that helped you, then include some of the tips there. If you networked in a way that landed you an internship, you definitely want to say that as well. So people are learning from it as well as they are appreciating your experience and your journey so far, right? His second
Mhm.
question is for those who have just graduated with little to no work experience at all, what creative ways organize their profile and CV on LinkedIn for employers to see that they have a lot to offer?
Again, it's whatever you learned at school, and I'm guessing if you graduate, so you did internship somewhere. You did probably volunteer work somewhere. So talk
Mhm.
about those stuff and then how that can help. So as a new graduate, let's say in this field, this is how I can help, your company to excel. It's the same thing. When you ask those questions, you answer them the same way you would answer them at an interview. Let's say,
Mm,
somebody, if you're sitting in front of somebody who's interviewing you right now, you have no experience, and then you say, okay, why are you the one?
mhm.
So the same way you would answer that question, it's the same thing that you should say on LinkedIn, right? Why should you like they love asking that question. Why are
What
you
you
the
hiring
ideal
for?
candidate when they
Mm,
are interviewing 10 others? So you have to be willing to sell yourself. Now you would be say, you know what, though I don't have like 10 years of experience, but I am somebody who's very determined. I'm a team player. I'm coachable. I'm this, I'm that, because, it shows that, okay, with you, even if you do not have the experience. But since you are a team player, if we are working part of a team, then we will have no issue with you. You're
yeah,
coachable. Well, if you are coachable, then I am able to transfer my knowledge to you to make you to bring you to the place where you'll be able to perform the work that I want you to perform independently.
yeah. All right,
Hmm.
yeah. And So add to that, because he probably wasn't here in the beginning, but Jean mentioned having a good banner image. So the horizontal one that's on your LinkedIn, making sure that you actually have a message there. I think a lot of it comes from it's a lot of deep thoughts as to what are you bringing into the market that you're going into, because it's no
Hmm.
news that labor markets everywhere are saturated. You know what
Hmm.
industry you're going into, that you're competing with probably at least 1,000 other candidates, whether you have experience or you don't have experience, right? So
Hmm.
thinking about what your own unique service offering is as you're moving into that space. If you are, for example, I'm in operations, and when I was thinking about what I wanted to put on my banner, because operations is there's so many different functions on a daily basis, but what is my own unique offering as I'm moving into this space? What kind of techniques do I like to work with? Companies I've
Hmm.
worked with, what have I helped them do, help them grow? And the growth, is it revenue based growth, or is it growth in terms of investment capacity? Is it growth in terms of human capacity? So did I enhance the staff strength? And so you want to think about what you like the most about the industry you're going into and what you have the capacity to add to as you're moving in there. Clean headshot for the profile picture. You want something that shows your face very clearly. Put on a good shirt.
Hmm.
Name, headline. Also, your headline, you have the first sentence there being what exactly it is that you do. So if you're in finance, if you're an investment banker, if you help people with stocks from a particular market, maybe in the US or the London Stock Exchange, you want to be specific about what your own particular role is, and not
That's
just
right.
saying, if you're in tech now, you're just a front-end developer. What stack do you work with, right? Because there
Hmm.
Python, Node.js, all these different things. So you want to be specific. So once somebody opens your profile, they don't even have to scroll. From the headline alone, they know whether
Yep.
you're the ideal candidate for them or not. It saves a lot of time, because there's no point somebody seeing front-end developer, sending you a message and realizing you don't work with the same type of technology that they're looking for. That's a waste of both your times. So being
Hmm.
specific saves you a lot of time. And also the sections in your LinkedIn, so the skills section, certifications, experience section, volunteerism, put information in all those places. Sometimes you open people's LinkedIn, they only have the profile picture, the name. They've not done any other thing. Some people do the first half and leave the work experience section all the way down completely empty. And in the virtual space, a lot of things hinge on trust and integrity. The fact that somebody can't see you physically to have a conversation with you, you want to give them as much information as possible that they can use to make a decision on you
Hmm.
before they do a message. Nobody is going to prefer someone with only a profile picture to someone whose entire profile speaks to their personality and their experience and who they are. So don't be
Yep.
afraid to put yourself out there. We've also mentioned AI. If there are any sections at all that you don't understand, or you haven't been able to completely configure to sound like you, go into your AI tool and say, this is who I am, this is what I am on LinkedIn. I need a headline that says this. I just don't know how to phrase it. It will give you options to choose from. And you
Yep.
use that technology to your advantage. And I think that's a better way to take off, especially
Hmm.
if you have little to no work experience and references to speak for you. Right. Whew. We have three more questions. Can LinkedIn optimization be achieved without a premium
Uh,
account?
um, um,
Yes.
we just take this last day, and that'll be it, because we have to wrap up.
Hmm.
Yeah, no
So
problem.
we just
No
let's just take
problem.
this last three, and then that'll be it. Thank you.
Yeah. So your first question, John has already answered. You can definitely do
Hmm.
your optimization without a premium account. Aside considering the timing of posts, what other ways can I use to attract more views? For instance, would you advise using Google or any other tools to drive traffic to your LinkedIn page?
I mean, if you want to drive traffic to your page by just doing Google Ads, I mean, if you
Mm,
have the funds for it, I mean, I would say go
mm,
for it. But LinkedIn is giving you the opportunity to grow for free. If your content is
mm-hmm,
good on
mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, you're gonna get attention. Now,
Yeah.
if you have a service that you are selling on LinkedIn, you want to excel or you want to scale it up by using Google Ads or Facebook ad, by any means, go ahead. But if it's just, to drive attention to your profile, I'd start by creating good content. And they say hashtags. Hashtags is no longer a trick on LinkedIn right now. I
Yeah.
mean, from several, I'm in in the community where I have my mentor has over 350,000 connection. He posts the simplest content on LinkedIn, and
Mm-hmm.
they go viral almost every day. There is no hashtag, and they not long form at all. Like, always
Yeah.
one same format, one picture that that has a few words on it and then a few uh you know posts,
Paragraphs to follow.
and
Yeah.
that's it. Hashtag no is no longer a thing.
All right. Right. So those are all the questions that we're taking right now. I can't see any more in the chat section. So thank you so much for your questions. Thank you, Jean, for your answers. Ooh, Mr. Michael, can we take this last one? Be very quick. Be very, very quick.
Yeah, all right,
Is
then let's do this last
SEO
one.
optimization any good on LinkedIn?
LinkedIn is basically SEO optimized. Like, let's say if you on LinkedIn, like somebody type your name on the Google search, the first thing that would come up is your LinkedIn profile. So that shows, like,
Mm-hmm.
if you this that's why it's important to have um a well optimized description, SEO friendly description on your profile, because, like, people would be finding you at basically on what you're reading. As I said, like, if you on LinkedIn right now, go type your name. The first thing that would pop up on LinkedIn would be your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah. All right. So I hope that answers your question, Anita. Thank you, Jean. Thank you, everyone. And back to you,
Sure.
Mr. Michael.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You're
Thank you so
welcome.
much, Lillian, for anchoring that session very brilliantly.
You're
And John,
welcome.
thank you too so much. I mean, we can't thank you enough for making the time, and of course
Mm.
for answering, the plethora of questions that have come from this conversation. So thank you so much.